Egill Skallagrímsson was a Viking-Age poet, warrior and farmer. He is also the protagonist of the eponymous Egill saga. Egill's saga historically narrates a period from approximately 850 to 1000 CE and is believed to have been written between 1220 and 1240 CE. Life. The following is based on the Icelandic saga, Egill saga. Like many sagas, it can be unreliable as a source of historical fact. Egill was born in Iceland, the son of Skallagrímsson and Bera Ingvarsdóttir, and the grandson of Kveldulfr. His ancestor, Halbjorn, was Norwegian Sami. When Grim arrived in Iceland, he settled at Borg, the place where his father's coffin landed. Grim was a respected chieftain and mortal enemy of King Harald Fairhair of Norway. Egill composed his first poem at the age of 3 years. He exhibited berserk behavior, and this, together with the description of his large and unattractive head, has led to the theory that he might have suffered from Paget's disease. As Professor Bayek explains in his Scientific American article, Paget's disease causes a thickening of the bones and may lead eventually to blindness. The poetry of Egill contains clues to Paget's disease, and this is the first application of science, with the exclusion of archaeology, to the Icelandic sagas. At the age of 7, Egill was cheated in a game with local boys. Enraged, he went home and procured an axe, and returning to the boys, split the skull to the teeth of the boy who cheated him. After Bergonunder refused to allow Egill to claim his wife Askerd's share of her father's inheritance, he challenged Onunder to a man-to-man fight on an island, a holmgang. Later, after being grievously insulted, Egill killed Barthar of Atli, a retainer of King Eric Bloodaxe and kinsman of Queen Gunhilda, both of whom spent the remainder of their lives trying to take vengeance. Seething with hatred, Gunhilda ordered her 2 brothers to assassinate Egill and his brother Thorol, who had been on good terms with her previously. However, Egill slew the queen's brothers when they attempted to confront him. Gunhild's brothers' names were Eyvind Braggart and Alfaxman. In spring, Thorolf and Egill got ready a large warship and went the eastern route, where they won much wealth and had many battles. In Courland they made a peace for half a month and traded with the men of the land. That same summer, Harald Fairhair died. In order to secure his place as sole king of Norway, Eric Bloodaxe murdered his 2 brothers. He then declared Egill an outlaw in Norway. Bergonunder gathered a company of men to capture Egill, but was killed in his attempt to do so. Before escaping from Norway, Egill also slew Ronvalda, the son of King Eric and Queen Gunhilda. He then cursed the king and queen, setting a horse's head on a nithing pole and saying, "Here I set up a nith pole, and declare this nith against King Eric and Queen Gunhilda." He turned the horse head to face the mainland. "I declare this nith at the land spirits there, and the land itself, so that all will fare astray, not to hold nor find the places, not until they wreak King Eric and Gunhilda from the land." Quote, "He set up the pole of Nith in the cliff face and left it standing. He faced the horse's eyes on the land, and he carved runes upon the pole, and said all the formal words of the curse." Gunhilda also put a spell on Egill, which made him feel restless and depressed until they met again. Soon afterwards, Eric and Gunhilda were forced to flee to the kingdom of Northumbria by Prince Haakon. In Saxon England, they were set up as king and queen of Northumbria in rivalry with King Athelstan of England. Ultimately, Egill was shipwrecked in Northumbria and came to know who ruled the land. Egill sought out the house of his good friend Arnbjorn, where they armed themselves and marched to Ares' court. Arnbjorn told Egill, "Now you must go and offer the king your head and embrace his foot." I will present your case to him. Arnbjorn presented Egil's case and Egil composed a short drapa, reciting it with Eri's foot in his hand, but Erika was not impressed. He explained that Egil's wrongs to him were far too great to be forgiven so easily. Gunhild called for the immediate execution of Egil, but Arnbjorn convinced the king not to kill him until the morning. The Vikings deemed it illegal to kill a man during the night time. Arnbjorn told Egil that he should stay up all night and compose a mighty head ransom poem, a drapa fit for such a king, a poem in praise of his enemy. In the morning Egil went before King Erik Bloodaxe and recited the great drapa. This 20-stanza-long head ransom poem appears in chapter 63 of Egil's saga. Erik was so surprised by the quality of the poem that he generously decided to give Egil his life, even though he had killed his own son. The complex nature of these poems, with unique word order determined by sophisticated word choice and metaphor kenning, as explained in the Poetic Edda, as well as the fact that they were often about kings and recited first in the royal presence, ensures that seeds of history abide in them, and the fact that Professor Bayek could diagnose Paget's disease from such poetry adds credence to the truthfulness of the content. Such complex poems were remembered entirely, as a whole cloth, or not at all. Egil's saga and other Icelandic sagas appear to hang on a skeletal framework of such complex poetry, a spine of historical truth. Egil also fought at the Battle of Brunanburh in the service of King Athelstan, for which he received payment in silver. Ultimately, Egil returned to his family farm in Iceland, where he remained a power to be reckoned with in local politics. He lived into his 80s and died shortly before the Christianization of Iceland. Before Egil died, he buried his silver treasure near Mosfellsberg. In his last act of violence, he murdered the servant who helped him bury his treasure. When a Christian chapel was constructed at the family homestead, Egil's body was re-exhumed by his son and reburied near the altar. According to the saga, the exhumed skullbone was hit with an axe, and it only turned white, showing the strength of the warrior, but also suggesting the traits of Paget's disease. Egil had 5 children with Asgurdbjornsdottir, Thorgerd Egilsdottir, Bera Egilsdottir, Bodvar Egilsson, Gunnar Egilsson and Thorstein Egilsson. In later years, Iceland's Myra clan claimed descent from him. Poems. Apart from being a warrior of immense might in literary sources, Egil is also celebrated for his poetry, considered by many historians to be the finest of the ancient Scandinavian poets, and Snorri, the dirge over his own sons, has been called the birth of Nordic personal lyric poetry. His poems were also the first Old Norse verses to use end rhyme. The following works are attributed to Egil: Athelstan's drapa, drapa for the Anglo-Saxon king Ethelstan; Hofudlasen, with which Egil bought his life from Erik Bloodaxe, who had sentenced him to death in England; Snorri, after the death of his son Bodvar, who drowned during a storm; Arnbjornarkvitha, dedicated to his companion Arnbjorn; Skjaldardrapa, Berudrapa, Lawsavashur, fragments. The following is one of Egil's Lawsavashur, found in chapter 40 of Egil's saga. Runes. Egil was also a scholar of runes. His apparent mastery of the magic powers assisted him several times during his journeys. During a feast at Atlaalbard's attempt to poison Egil failed when a rune carved by Egil shattered his poisoned cup. At a companion's request, he examined a sick woman. A local landowner, after being denied her hand in marriage, had attempted to carve love runes. Instead, he had mistakenly carved runes causing illness. Egil burned the offending runes and carved runes for health, and the woman recovered. He then sang a poem declaring that runes none should grave ever who knows not to read them. Both these incidents are quite believable. Most poisons of the period were strong alkaloids which would cause cowhorn drinking cups to fray. This was one reason for the use. When Egill carved the rune, in all likelihood he had spotted the fraying and used it to disguise why he pried at the cup. As for the sick young woman, in addition to burning the runes, Egill ordered her to be lifted out of bed and her old bedding to be thrown away and replaced with new sheets. Recovery was swift. Runes were also employed by Egill during the raising of the Nithing pole against King Eric Bloodaxe and Queen Gunhilda. Egill in popular culture. Egill remains a very popular figure in Iceland, with a beer brewery, Egill Skallagrímsson, named after him. There is a talk show on Icelandic television called Egill Silver, named after Egill's hidden treasure. This, however, was also a double joke, since the host's first name is Egill. Egill Silver is also the name of a song by Megas, from his first album. In the SCA Barony of Adiantum there is an Egill Skallagrímsson memorial tournament held annually on Memorial Day weekend. The novelist Poul Anderson wrote Mother of Kings, a historical fantasy centered on Gunhilda and the long feud that she, Erika, and the children had with Egill. The novel is based on Heimskringla and Egill's Saga. Egill's Saga is a song on the album leaked by the German band Faun. The lyrics are taken from Egill's Saga and tell the story of the girl made sick by the runes and how Egill cured her. Popular YouTuber Skallagrim adopted his nickname and channel name from the tale of Egill.